Good evening, Vancouver. Welcome back to Canucks After Dark. It is Monday, January 26th. It is early. It is still after dark because it's January, but it is an early show here at 7 o'clock, as always, with my co-host, Canuck Clay. How are we feeling today?
Parker, I know the show is called Canucks After Dark, or as you said, Canucks Barely After Dark, but come on, a minute or two. Tell us about your experience yesterday. People want to know.
Yesterday was a good day. Made my way down to Seattle in the morning with a couple family members. We went down. We went to this delicious chicken restaurant that's like 2 blocks away from the stadium that we sort of discovered at the beginning of the season and is now very busy on Seahawks game days because they have a very good drink special. And so we got there at like 11 o'clock when they opened, and we were there until probably about 3. Just watching the one football game. Then we went, walked over to Lumen and had a very stressful, loud few hours. My voice is not feeling great. I'm very tired, but I'm here, and we're here early, not because of that, but because I have hockey in 2 hours, and I don't know how that's going to go.
You're going to sound like DeBrusque and Petey in their post games afterwards.
Yeah, I heard about that they're not doing so hot.
It was bad. The weather I know was dry, but how cold? And I don't know where your seats were. If they're up, or, like, were you cold? Were you comfortable all day?
It was cold. It was probably 3 degrees at kickoff, and probably got down to about 1 or 0. 2 pairs of sweatpants, 2 sweaters, toque, gloves, the whole 9. I did okay. It was
okay.
A lot of warm bodies doing a lot of yelling. There was no time to be cold.
And then last question, when did you feel, or maybe the answer is never, did you feel confident they were going to win? Was it finally when they made that 4th down stop? Like, when did you say this is happening?
When I saw the ref wind his arm after that last catch.
Yes.
Because that's all I was looking for. We all stared right at the ref, and the second he started moving his arm, we knew it was over, and I didn't feel confident until that point.
So
and even then, it was a little scary because they could review it.
Yep. And then, it's not inconceivable that they would score from 50, 60 yards out, right?
Could happen.
Wow. Okay. And prediction for 2 weeks from now?
Hoping for a blowout. It's as a Canucks and Seahawks fan, right? Boston has been the problem, right? Yep. 2011, obviously, Game 7, Bruins Canucks. A couple years after that, in February of, I guess it would have been 2014 season. Obviously we lose to the Patriots and that heartbreaker. And I know that for the next 2 weeks, that highlight is the only thing I'm going to see on the internet, and that's going to hurt. But this is a game. The Seahawks Rams. That was one that we knew was going to be close. We knew it was going to be a battle, and we knew it was going to be tight. And you wouldn't really want it any other way. I want to just kill these guys. Just don't make it close. Don't make it interesting. Let's do a repeat of Super Bowl 48.
Yes.
And just run away with it. I don't need it to be close.
Thank you, Taylor, for the compliment. I would agree. And yes, Fangirl, it's not fully. There's a sort of cover, right? Not even.
Yeah, the sidelines are like there's like a half dome, but it only goes over the upper bowl basically. Yeah.
Awesome. And some people giving some love to the earlier show tonight, which is fine. I'm sure Parker's, if we even had hockey, Parker would be in cloud 9. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking I'm going to get home and I might still be in bed before we'd normally be done.
That's awesome. I guess we should start off with the news of the day. You called it in the thumbnail, the title, and we just got a tweet from Rick Dollywall saying Evander Kane's agent, Dan Milstein, has been given permission to help facilitate a trade for his client.
Yeah, an interesting one, especially because we saw, I don't remember, was this on, I want to say Friday, that Kevin Weeks tweeted out that it sounded like the Stars and the Avs were the main people targeting Kane, and obviously 2 division rivals and the 2 top teams in the Central by a good bit. Interesting that the agent has to get involved with things like this. Like I don't really get that part. Like what is he going to go tell the teams that they don't already know, right? About Evander Kane. But I think this sort of follows the path of, we know someone is going to make a trade for him, right?
Right.
Like even though he has flaws in his game, there's the penalties, he's not the fastest player anymore. And he plays a style of hockey that age doesn't necessarily put up well with, right? That sort of power forward. But, if you can take a flyer on that guy for cheap to add him to your roster for the playoffs, I can think of a lot of GMs who would be like, well, it's worth the flyer, right?
Yep.
If we have to throw a third at this and maybe he has a great game and wins us a playoff game or something like that, that's going to be a worthy investment potentially. So totally get, he's not a player that makes any sense on this roster, obviously with how our season has gone. But I can definitely see some teams, some old hockey style guys being like, yeah, this is a guy that I want to be on our hard to play against playoff roster.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch him magically be awesome from the Olympic break on and during the regular season. Did you hear or see? No, you probably didn't because you're not on X anymore. So a couple of people linked to this. Evander Kane on Instagram followed an account called Build TX Solutions, TX meaning Texas. And the bio of this Instagram is, we design, build, and remodel beautiful homes and in Dallas. So so maybe coincidental, but today Evander Kane followed a custom home builder in Dallas on Instagram. Just saying. I'm just saying.
That doesn't make any sense. He's gonna get a house built for his.
Yeah, and that's what people were saying.
3 months at the end of the season.
Who does that? That's exactly what the contrary to this, or is they're saying, yeah, why would someone build a home for 4 months? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, unless it's a trade and sign. But I think I don't see any reason to do that. I don't think there's going to be a ton of teams tripping over themselves to sign him in the offseason necessarily.
Right. Maybe he's good at flipping houses. I don't know.
Maybe it's his passion.
So when you first heard, let's stay on Kane for a bit. We might as well now. No point going to games and then bouncing back to him. When you first heard Dallas, Colorado, to me that made sense. Like especially as those teams and Minnesota. I'm not saying they're involved, but that's gonna be a dogfight to get out of the Central. So that wasn't a surprise, right? If contenders could be the ones bidding for his services, perhaps.
No, that made a lot of sense, right? Like these are, you look at the Central, right? There's 3 teams, right? Colorado obviously has that big edge, but I don't want to say come back down to earth because their record's still unbelievable. They still only lost 6 games in regulation, but they're not doing the thing where they had only lost like 2 regulation games all year. They've 4 of their last 10 games they have lost in regulation, like a normal hockey team. And obviously the Wild and the Stars are about 10 points back. I can definitely see, it being a bit of an arms race there, right? Especially because, in a 7-game playoff series, right? If round 2 or round 3 is Colorado v Dallas, maybe you take Colorado 60% of the time. Yeah. Right. But if I'm Dallas, I'm doing everything I can to get that 40% to 43% or 45%, right? Like every little bit I can add as a way to, knock off some of the Avs chances. And if I'm Colorado, I'm saying, well, I don't want them to get that guy potentially, right? And maybe that can spark a bit of a trading battle.
It's interesting, Parker, when Quinn Hughes was traded to the Minnesota Wild, I wanted to see, I looked it up, because now I thought I had it. Minnesota has passed Dallas in the standings. Yeah. They played one more game, but weren't they 6 or 8 points behind?
I think
when he got traded.
Yeah, well, they went an unbelievable run after that trade.
Right.
Again, they've all sort of come back down to earth a little bit, right? Right now, Utah's the hottest team in the Central, which is fun. But yeah, I think the Wild went. I think they were running like an 800 clip for a few weeks after that trade.
Right. Oh yeah, here it is. No, I can't tell, but yeah, Dallas was up. All I'm saying is that they made up that gap. They slowed down a little bit, but you're right. I love how you say it's an arms race or whatever you want to say. So it makes sense that contending teams, and in particular those two, could be linked to Evander Kane. Yeah, you're right, Parker. He'll be good in the playoffs. He'll be fine. He doesn't have to be your leading scorer or your MVP. He just got to be a good middle 6 guy that's going to muck it up and make sure that you play tough hockey. And that's what he did for, he wasn't the reason, but he was part of two teams, Oilers teams that went to the finals. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
he's got some pedigree.
Yep.
The other thing I look at is how many sellers are there this year, right?
Yeah,
And like, every year, everything's kind of, in a little bit mushy for a while, right? There's a lot of teams kind of close, but like in the East, for example, right? Like every team again in the Atlantic is still above 500, right?
Yep.
No one there is selling because all of them are, they're a couple points out of a wild card spot, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then in the Metro, like, even then, like all but one team is above 500, and the other one's the Rangers, right? Are the Rangers going to be selling off big pieces? They probably should. And it might start with their captain. Yeah, like there's just not many. I don't think there's going to be a ton of assets to go around at this deadline, and that could be an advantage for the Canucks, right? Being the only true seller potentially. At least the only obvious one. Maybe that increases the value a little bit and gets a little bit more competition around some of these guys.
Those are really good points. Also, to add to that, so I agree with you. Hardly any sellers. Elliot Friedman was on the radio today, and he was saying that he thinks in the next few weeks leading up to the Olympics and beyond, as teams realize that the best they can do is wild card 2, they might flip from buyers to sellers because they may realize that they are not going to get past Colorado in the first. I'm talking about obviously the Western Conference. So he says there could be a couple teams that are in the wild card mix that might actually drop out, just realizing it makes sense to mortgage a bit of the future, only to possibly get smoked in the first round.
Yeah, and especially in the West, right? Because I'm a bit more familiar with what goes on in the West. I struggle to see who that's going to be because, like, okay, Calgary, I get, right? Calgary's going to be in that spot because they're too far out of it. And same with St. Louis, same with Winnipeg, right? Those are the obvious ones. But if I'm Seattle and I haven't done anything really since our existence, right? And they're on the playoff bar right now, right? They have 55 points. That's the playoff bar in the West right now. Are they looking at that and saying, well, why don't we mortgage a little bit and get in, right? Like at least get some of these guys some playoff experience because they haven't had that yet, right?
Yep.
Same thing, like these are all teams on the rise, right? The Kings are on the rise. The Sharks are on the rise. The Ducks are on the rise. A lot of them are going to be, like, hey, we need to get that first step and get into the playoffs. That way we can develop that experience and then, build up from there. I also look on the other side, like Nashville, like how many more kicks at the can do they have of being a mediocre playoff team before they completely bottom out?
Yeah,
right?
with all their old guys. You're right.
Utah is on the rise, right? With all their young guys. They probably want some playoff experience. Chicago has their young guys and they're on the outside looking in. But again, I could see them being like, well, we don't have a ton of, older guys to sell off and we're insulating our good young guys. And, I could see a lot of these teams not necessarily wanting to sell off big pieces.
Yep.
But it's not like we have a lot of big pieces to sell either, right? Us being one of the true sellers, like we've got, if you want to make a DeBrusque move or Garland or whoever, right? But like Evander Kane is not the big trade at the deadline that's moving the needle for many teams.
And just to finish that thought about wildcard 1 versus wildcard 2, this is the difference. Games in hand notwithstanding, if the season ended right now, Utah would be wildcard 1 with 58 points. And guess what? They're playing Vegas, who only has 62 points. So they're basically playing against a team that they're even with, where San Jose with 55 would play against a 79-point Colorado Avalanche. So that's the difference that wildcard 1 and wildcard 2 makes this year because of Colorado. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I would look at okay, the Avalanche are going to absolutely steamroll, whoever's in wildcard 2, right?
Yep.
Most likely. But like Utah, Vegas, that would be a great series.
Yep.
Right, that could be a good little rivalry, right? Because they're close to each other, right? Utah's on this upswing. That could be a really fun series. That, I'd take Vegas if I was picking a team, but I could see Utah doing something. So I think a lot of these teams are, if you can get the 7 seed, like you said, basically, or find your way into number 3 in your division. Because that makes things a little bit easier, right? Especially in the Pacific, right? Because you're getting the Oilers or maybe even Anaheim with how they're playing right now.
Sure.
There's a lot of ways to sort of convince yourself to stay in the mix.
Yeah. So 2 questions to wrap up this Kane talk. Number 1, when do you think it happens? Do we think it's sooner now because of this tweet, just one tweet? And number 2, what he's played a little bit better. I don't know if he's moving up 1 or 2 rounds because of his. I think you have to kind of go with pedigree too, or potential, whatever. So what constitutes a good return? Is it simply the 4th that we give up, or is that oversimplifying it? Or maybe that's fine.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I'd be a little disappointed, I think. I'm honestly, when you say like when you think it'll happen, I was kind of surprised it hasn't yet. Especially when I like that Kevin Weeks tweet on Friday. To me was
You were
like,
ready, yeah.
To me is like that. To me is like, hey, clock is ticking. Like this is a 48 hours or less thing. I didn't think we'd make it to Monday. As for return. I was listening to Half and Breath a little bit last week, and Drance was basically like, he's just like, can I see a team spinning their wheels and like convincing themselves that, hey, we need Evander Kane, and at 50% retained, that maybe a second comes the other way, right? Like a late second. He's like, I could see it. He's like, I'm not basing that on anything. I haven't heard anything. There's no rumors about that. He's like, but I could see a team convincing themselves to do that. So yeah, maybe it's a third, right? Maybe another team's third. That would be, a little bit higher up, somewhere in the 70s, instead of like the, Colorado's, which is going to be 96 most likely. So, or I guess 95, because I think someone's missing a pick this year or something like that. Yeah. But either way, I would take a third. If I hear that they just traded him for a 6th, I'd be disappointed. Because then it was an overall negative experiment.
Right. I'm with you. Usually when Kevin Weeks, he does those silly videos where he's like, it's only his eyes, right? Yeah. I don't know what that's his shtick, but you're right. He doesn't say as much as a lot of the other insiders, but he's usually right on there because these guys are all well connected. So I'm with you. I was ready to look at something over the weekend and nothing came. And then I went to the 2 games. I was there Friday. I was there Sunday, and he was playing. Didn't do much, but he's okay, whatever. And then, to see that tweet just like 5 minutes before we press go live, it could happen. Maybe they're kind of the soil was being tilled over the weekend, and now that we hear this officially, like Dollywall wouldn't say that for no reason. Maybe something is imminent over the next couple of days. Who knows?
Yeah. Again, the permission to facilitate a trade is so weird to me. I just don't. Like, what is there to facilitate, What
are you pitching, like 3 guys around a table kind of thing? Like
yeah,
I don't know.
Dan's chiming in and being like, well, actually, he's got this extra value for whatever reason. Like, I don't think he cares about the return. It's who.
Parker, does this actually mean the Canucks have tried to move him and they don't like what they're getting? So they're saying, hey, agent, why don't you give this? Like, what does this actually mean?
I have no idea. Because I get it when you have a guy who's like, who kind of wants out, right? Yeah. And the agent's like, hey, like we'll go poke some tires for you. Yeah. But it's also like, well, what's the GM's job at that point, right? Like, yeah, unless Dan's just going around and saying, hey, like we got this, like they're trading this guy, give us a ballpark on what you'd go, and I'll go, put a slide deck together for Patrick and we'll walk him through. I just don't get it. What are Patrick and Jim doing that they're too busy to go to send a text to the big GM group chat like, hey, who's got a third for me? It just doesn't. I don't know.
I like that slide deck. Yeah, they put a little Canva together. Okay, all right. So we will track this Evander Kane story as we go. Not that we're gonna do it's not like an emergency show where Quinn Hughes got traded, where I wasn't even there. Parker ran it, but I don't think. I'm declaring that we probably won't do an emergency Canucks After Dark if Evander Kane gets traded. Is that fair to say?
Unless we get a first.
Okay.
By some miracle.
Yeah, you heard it here first. If it's a first-round pick coming back for Kane, even if it's only 5 minutes, we will do a show.
Yes. Yeah. His numbers are coming together a little bit, right? Like he's following the same pattern as he followed 2 years ago, right? Less goals. Goals are important in this league. Like this is the first time he's had more assists than goals in 5 years, 6 years.
Interesting.
That's not really his MO, right? He's only done it like once or twice in his career. His goal has been close, but I think his shooting percentage is just down. We knew it was down because he couldn't score to start the season.
Right.
But yeah, you get a half a point per game player that can be physical and you can protect your guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. In that, was that a COVID year? What was, no, it's out of COVID. He only played 43 games. That's weird, but he had 39.
Yeah, that's the year after.
Yeah. Okay. Plus 25 too. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
That year.
Yeah. Crazy. We will see. So Winnipeg, Buffalo, San Jose, Edmonton, Vancouver. He'll be moving to his 6th team since getting drafted in 2009. Okay. 34 years old. I don't know.
That makes sense to me for a guy who had some, let's say turmoil maybe on some of his younger years.
But he has been definitely in Edmonton, and he was there for 3 years, not the 1 year he'll be here. Definitely model citizen, and we haven't heard anything bad this year. So we just wanted a bit more from him on the ice, but we'll see. We'll see what they get back from him and when it's going to be.
Yes, hopefully something gets done at some point
soon. Willing to bet on who it is? Just if you name one team, and we'll see if you're right.
I'm gonna go with Dallas. If I'm Colorado, like I might want to trade for a couple of guys like as injury, injury backups. But like I don't want to risk that room, right? If we have a room that is just working and they're we're locking in the 1 seed in basically November, they did, right? I want to keep everything. I want to keep lines the same. I want to keep everything the same. And Evander Kane might pose a risk to that, but maybe he's just a good player to throw on your third line and have on PP2 if you need to, and just if you need a physical presence, you can draw him in. But Dallas to me feels like they have more to sort of not really play for, if you know what I mean, but they have less to lose, I guess, right? Like Colorado has, they're by far the favorites, like 20+% chance to win the Stanley Cup, which is crazy in January. And if I'm Dallas, I'm doing everything I can to disrupt that.
I hear what you're saying about the room. I do think you think this of all the good teams. Like for Colorado, they have McKinnon and they have Landeskog, and for Dallas, they have veterans like Sagan and guys like you think that they have enough strong leadership though, right, in the dressing room where you at least I would think that. And Kane would know his role. He knows he's coming in as a hired gun or whatever, free agent rental. And you'd hope he wouldn't disrupt it, but I hear what you're saying too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about that. I'm just thinking, like, again, if I'm, you can be a little risk averse when you're that far ahead of everyone else.
Sure, that's true. Why wreck a good thing? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so we both, you say Dallas. I see it being a Central Division team, whether it's Dallas, whether it's, I don't know what Minnesota's cap situation is like, whether it's Colorado, only because they're linked. And I don't think the Canucks are so scared to trade him to a Pacific Division team like Vegas. Who knows?
Yeah, it
doesn't
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. All right. Well, that's the most we've ever talked about Evander Kane on the show.
I think we talked about him a good bit the day we gave the fourth for him.
All right. You want to go to games or to more injuries, more off ice stuff, which happened? Yeah,
we can talk about games pretty quick here. We can start with that. We'll go back in time because there was no game today, obviously. Yep. We'll go back to that Washington game last Wednesday.
The win.
A rare win for the Canucks. I remember I had hockey this night, and I think my game was at like 8:15. So it was like one of those ones where you get off the ice right as the game is ending. Yeah. And it was sort of like, the Canucks won. It's like as everyone's sort of like checks their phones getting into the dressing room. Like, oh, that's weird. Especially because we knew they were down 2-0 at the one point. Yeah. They have that 2-goal deficit, 2 power play goals within a minute 20 for the Capitals that the Canucks erased, end up scoring 4 straight, and then hold off the Capitals late in the third there.
Yeah, this is the one where that bucks the trend of what the Canucks have been doing. Generally, every game except for this one is being like a tie coming out of the first 0-0. Then the Canucks get smoked in the second period, and they mount a furious comeback in the third, only to fall short, right? But you're exactly right. They survived the bad first period, at least the first half. They come out of the first period tied, and they are actually up not just one but 2 goals. And needless to say, it's the first win of the calendar year. How bad is that to say that?
Yeah, they almost made it 3 weeks without winning in the new year. Yeah, and it's one of those games where like, yeah, they weren't playing from behind. I mean, they were for in the first, but after the first, they tied that up. Yeah. And they sort of, they played a pretty even game where they had a 2-goal lead and then they sat on it in the third, right? As we've seen this team do before, and their 20-minute turtle worked. They only allowed the 1 goal. And they got that win, and it was good. It was like, oh, Boeser's back. 2-point night for Brock. Good to see that. And obviously, we'll get to why that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so and we're David Kampf. This was the game where he had 2 really nice assists. So everything kind of went right for the Canucks. Lankinen played very well. So it was just a matter of, let's be realistic. The Canucks can afford to win 4 or 5 games, and they'll still be in last place. So I don't think the Tankists were overly concerned that the Canucks broke their winning streak. I'm sure even the Tankists were happy from a morale standpoint that the Canucks actually won a game for once, because naturally it went back to normal right after that.
Yeah. You're not going to lose every game, right? You just if you're cheering for the Tank, as I am, you cheer for as many losses as possible. Yeah, and you cheer for the other teams around you. What do you when you're at a game like this, right? Obviously, they win, and that's a good fun time. But when you're going to these games, are you still focusing on the Canucks, or are you focusing on like who's in town that night?
That's a great question. So I knew we were going to talk about this. So I had a revelation today, Parker. Every other season up until now, the Canucks, even when they were winning a playoff spot, I would be very resistant, very reticent to use the tank word, because I don't believe in it. I still didn't believe in it. And the Canucks were actually truly never last. So there was always this whole thing in my head, well, if they can climb out, they might make the playoffs. Or even if they don't win everything, they're not going to finish in the bottom 5. So to me, it was kind of useless, right? Given Canucks lottery luck. But as soon as this year, there's a part that's a switch that flipped to me that said, even though I thought they were too talented to be bottom 5, no, they're not. They're actually very bad. They're very not talented, and they don't have good injury luck, and all those things combined to where they are right now. So to answer so I'm actually okay, and I'm mature enough to realize that we're going to finish with the top 3 pick. Like, unless we have to play like at a 100-point pace just to pass like 4 teams, that's not going to happen. So to answer your question, when I'm at the game, I am still cheering for them to win, because A, I paid money, and B, that's still what I'm about. I want them to win, because it's a weird thing to say. In my heart of hearts, I almost know that they're not going to, and even if they do, they got to string 4 or 5 together just to even be remotely close to 31st place team. So I'm still, in a weird way, cheering for them as loud as I would if they were battling for first overall. Do you kind of get what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt. I was watching, because I watched a good chunk of the Devils game. Yeah. The Devils game. And I remember watching the third period, and it was a great third period, right? Like, especially the last couple minutes, right? Canucks pulled the goalie, and it was like, talk about that. Yeah, and it was like really interesting. But I'm again, like, Boeser scores that goal with 1 minute and 10 seconds or whatever, and I'm like, my heart is being torn in 2 different directions. Or I'm like, I was like, yeah, like, hey, well, like, put the pressure on, make it close, don't allow another goal, but like maybe Markstrom makes a 6 save to like keep us from tying it, and then like I'm happy. That's funny. It's so hard to reconcile.
Yeah, and there, as you know, you kind of started to lead with it, get into it. There were 4 distinct moments where New Jersey should have scored in the empty net, starting with the PD save, and then a couple of lazy plays, good back checks, whatever, just not even shooting for some inexplicable reason, and that made it exciting too. You're right, leading to that Boeser, who's Mr. Clutch in those final moments. And yeah, I can tell you from being at the game, Parker, maybe because it was a weekend, and because there are a lot of kids there, because it was a weekend, right? And Canucks tickets are cheap right now, and as people like Irvin have pointed out to me, when the team is bad, ironically, it's actually a good time to build a fan base because it's cheaper seats, more people getting in the arena, blah, blah, blah. It was a good crowd, and they were going nuts as soon as Petey made that save, and it was pretty funny. It was a good time, but a good result, perfect result for the Tank, as some have said, for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where like it sort of gets drawn up perfectly, right? For that purpose, because it's a team that's also like out of the playoffs, right? You want them to get points. Not that the Canucks are going to catch the Devils, right? Like there's 15 points between them or whatever it is, but
Right.
It's a high scoring game. It's a fun game. Cody Glass is the first star, which is funny.
Forever linked to PD.
Yeah, but then you get a Boeser goal, you get a Zeev goal, you get Linus Karlsson doing something. You have Teddy Bluger back in the lineup and scoring shorthanded. I think he has as many 5-on-5 goals as Jake DeBrusk does this year. So yeah, I think that Devils game was a perfect Tank game.
Yeah, and that Zeev goal was nice. Remember that one? He goes outside in and goes to the net. That was
He's got talent, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's hurt now, but and it's again, we're still talking about a guy who's really young, right?
Yeah.
Like just that play, just a great cut in right off that wall. Finds a little bit of open space, just drives, good release, gets his own rebound. Like that's a talented goal for a 20-year-old defenseman.
I agree. So speaking of Zeev and getting injured, let's recap yesterday afternoon's game, and then we can talk about the two injuries that stemmed from it. Now, I know the Canucks were the furthest from your mind. You weren't even in town, so I'll say, that formula I was talking about, good first, play them even, bad second, and then frantically come back. That's exactly what they tried to do yesterday as well.
What it looks like, yeah. When you have Coquitlam boy Ben Kindle out there lighting it up.
Oh, he had 150 people there. They had a suite and they were into it, and rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be solid. How many 18-year-olds are out there, making the league, first year, right? He was 11. It's not like he was a top 3 pick, right? 11th overall last year. And I know he had a hot start at the beginning of the year, had a bit of a slow period, which makes sense. I heard the stat was he's like the third Pittsburgh Penguin to have multiple multi-goal games as an 18-year-old. It's like him. It's like Crosby, Yager, and Jordan Stahl, and Ben Kindle. So a very fun list. But again, you don't necessarily want to be down 3-0 after 2, right? That can sort of kill the vibe in the rink, right? Again, just thinking from a soul perspective, but making it interesting in the third, right? They score twice up till 6 minutes left, and I'm sure again I didn't see this game. I was a little busy, but how those last 6 minutes I imagine were probably pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. But I think Boeser tried to score from his patented. From the goalie's right, like he did against New Jersey, where we always. And then I'm pretty sure Skinner dove head first to try and make a save. That was pretty funny. Decent chances, and then we had the melee with 5 seconds left. Did you end up seeing the highlight?
I haven't yet. I'm just watching this the Skinner save.
You saw it?
Yeah, he throws the shoulder at least. Okay. Yeah, it's a great save.
What did you look up? Skinner face save or like?
It's the top on the NHL Game Center,
funny.
and just under all the goals, there's the highlights, and it was the last highlight of the game, right?
Yeah.
So it's the first one there. I've watched the hit, but that's it. I didn't watch the rest of it after. But like Rust clearly doing the full lean all the way across and coming all the way up right into the chin as he gets obviously hitting the numbers by Raquel as well.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
So being there live, I definitely saw Russ sweep across with his elbow. Then it wasn't until I saw the replay where poor Boeser, he gets cracked from behind at the exact same time. So he does one of the boom, boom, right?
Yeah.
And then
your body just does one of these.
Yeah, exactly. And then Russ goes flying over Skinner's goal stick, which is kind of funny. Then Russ so Boeser's lying on his front while the Canucks are whacking at the puck. Then the horn goes and Pittsburgh doesn't celebrate because class, I guess with a bit of class, I don't know if that's the right word, sportsmanship. The Canucks are checking on Boeser. Rust even goes up to Boeser, taps him. Are you okay, man? Or I apologize, whatever. Then only once Boeser stands up with the help of the Canucks and trainer comes out, then Pittsburgh filters off the bench and celebrates. So, with all the chaos, I didn't even know that Russ got a 2-minute check to the head penalty, which makes sense. We know he has a hearing tomorrow. What do you think? 1 or 2 games, or what do you? What do you think?
He'll get a couple at least. I think.
Yeah,
it's just one of those. It's one of those textbook easy. Like, yep, it's head contact. Yep, you got the elbow up. It was right in the chin.
Yeah,
you can't do that. I'd say 2 or 3.
Okay, that's fair. And I said in my video today 1 or 2 as well. So maybe it is 2, and then we'll both be right. That's good. Boeser obviously got hit by Tanner Jeannot last November, so we know he's had at least one bad concussion related hit. So we'll see. And no rush, no point bringing him back, especially in this season. Like maybe we don't see Boeser, God forbid, hopefully by after the Olympic break. But I don't see a reason why he's on IR now. Why bring him back for one of the next 5 games, right?
No, there'd be no point, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna bring him back for the game in Vegas next Wednesday. Like, don't do that. That seems pretty silly, right? Just keep him home. Doesn't need to fly anywhere. Yeah, right. Rest up and see you at the end of February.
Now the Buium injury, so obviously unfortunate. We'll see what kind of supplementary discipline that Brian Rust gets. The Buium injury was interesting, Parker, only because I didn't see it. I was moving seats. Actually, I got called by a friend to go sit with them. So Gail and I were moving. And then I was wondering why his ice time was so low. I was wondering why he was wearing a bubble kit. Like I'm so stupid. And then I realized he was not responsible, but he misplayed 2 of the 3 Pittsburgh goals, and it added up to an eventful night for Zeev Buium.
Yeah, so apparently he gets hit with a puck in the first.
Yeah.
Comes back with a bubble.
Yeah.
Still ends up playing 16 minutes.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, right? Because you see a guy get the bubble put on and come back in the game, right? You think like, oh, okay, he's sore, like he's got a bruise or he lost a tooth maybe or whatever, right? Do we know what the actual injury was?
No, they showed a picture of a black eye, but that it could also mean nose, right? It could mean cheek because the blood goes. So we don't know actually. Yeah.
So did you see where the puck hit?
No, I didn't even see. I haven't even watched.
Okay.
I couldn't even find the replay.
Yeah, I haven't. I couldn't find it either because I'm trying to think like if it was helmet and then helmet sort of comes in and cuts you, right? Like can be a thing, right? Or if it's visor, right? If it's black eye, right? It hits you and comes in and obviously dissipates the impact, but still not good, right? Those you get worried about a little bit.
Have you ever played with a bubble?
I do play with a bubble.
Okay, is it hard to see out of? No.
If it gets foggy, it is. Otherwise, it's fine.
Okay, gotcha. I don't play ice hockey, so I play with a cage though because I'm very clumsy and got to protect these nice white. No, I'm just kidding. But
it's tough to get used to though. Like I imagine your first game with the bubble because what happens? Your normal vision is fine, and for these guys, this probably isn't as big of a deal as it is for me, right? And for players of my caliber, because where there's the visor, and then there's sort of like the thick plastic like grate sort of part, right, that you breathe out of. Yep. And then there's the chin piece that's also clear plastic. But what that means is just your peripheral vision, like straight down at your feet, which you never really notice that you have. Right. That now has like that much clear plastic in the way, and it sort of distorts it. And so you can't really see like your own feet anymore, which again, you're not really used to seeing, but you notice when it's not there. That's at least what I remember from like my first like week with it. Going from, when I played with a visor for a couple of games, like, why am I doing this? And put the bubble on. So yeah, I can see it being hard as an NHL defenseman, but again, they probably have better feel than I do.
Sure. But that's really good insight because the first goal that the Pittsburgh scored, he did a bad pinch. So maybe that has nothing to do with vision. It's just a bad judgment, which is fine. Everyone makes mistakes. But then the third Pittsburgh goal, I think it was Brasso or someone just jumped around him. Like it was a weird play where you kind of poke it and you jump around the guy. And I was surprised that he beat Buium that easily. So that's the one where I thought maybe he wasn't right, whether it's head, whether it's vision, whether it's whatever. It wasn't the best look on him, but he's 20 years old. He's going to be fine. And he was injured. So like all those reasons make sense. I know some people were saying, well, why do you even let him back in the game if he's wearing a bubble and you don't know, but maybe they don't know the extent. I don't know. Maybe he threatened the trainer and said, let me out. I don't know.
Yeah, and it seems weird, going right onto IR right after. Right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Like, that seems. the next day just getting thrown on IR. Clearly, it's significant enough for them to. I mean, yeah, he's going to be. Are you going to trot him out Wednesday against Vegas? Because I imagine that's the game he'd be eligible for. Maybe the one before that.
Right.
But again, that seems like a take the Olympic break, right? You got nowhere to be. Rest up. Can they just skip these games? And I say that's some of the tickets to one of them. We don't need to play these out, do we?
No, that's a good point. And yeah, but you make a good point. The fact that he goes on IR the very next day, and IR means you have to miss at least 1 week. That shows you obviously, that he can't play for a week. So it was bad.
Yeah, I guess they'd be eligible for the Utah game.
Right, he could do the last two
on the second.
Yeah.
So the little 2-game road trip to end the year. So yeah, I guess for him it's just like, he's got some bruising or whatever, and he's just taking a week off. Then maybe he comes back for those 2 games. But like for Boeser, there's no reason to push that, right? Come back in late Feb, take the month.
Yep. So Lekaramaki comes up for Boeser, makes sense. Right shot, blonde, good release. Lekaramaki will play. You don't put him on the. I think he will play. And then Mancini comes up for Buium. Mancini's right shot, Buium's left. P.O. Joseph can bounce back and forth. So if you put Joseph as your lefty, you have 3 lefties now and 4 righties because of Mancini. So that's what the Canucks will look like. We'll see. Mancini's interesting. Like I read an article about him today, Parker, where they're saying he's not young. Like whereas Villander, DPD, and Buium are all 20 and 21, Mancini's 24, and they're still trying to figure out what they have in him.
Yeah, well, he's 23. There's 24 in May.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, he's still a 5th round pick who's 23. Like he's a defenseman. If we're talking about a forward here, I'd be like, you're starting to. Now's about the time you need to start making it to the NHL. But a defenseman who's a 5th round pick, I don't really hate just letting him cook for a bit and seeing what you have.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see what he looks like. Right. We've seen him in 9 games this year, in Vancouver, obviously. Same thing with Lekaramaki, right? He's only played 8 games in Vancouver, and he couldn't really figure it out. Right. Couldn't get the space. Couldn't get wasn't getting the shot off often. But in Abbotsford, he's been doing just fine. Right. He's got 10 goals in 16 games in Abbotsford. Yeah. So, it's just making that step. And I can imagine that's got to be the hardest jump in the world, right? Going from the AHL to the NHL. So we'll see what they can pull out.
Yep. No, exactly. Speaking of which, you think the Canucks make a move pre-Olympic break? And do you think the Canucks will do more before the trade deadline? Obviously, Kane is the one that's staring right in front of us because we spent the first 25 minutes talking about it.
Yeah, that's the one that I think gets done. I'm not expecting anything else. So noon on February 4th is when the freeze starts. So we have 9 days basically for moves to get made. And then that goes until Feb 22. And then when's the deadline?
March 5, 6, something like that.
So then you basically get 2 weeks after that, not even, to make all your moves. So really, you take the freeze out, and the GMs will talk over the break, right? Like we could get the day the freeze ends, we could get a handful of trades that go through, right? But you essentially have 9 days here and another, whatever it is, 12 days after. You have 3 weeks till the trade deadline because there's 3 weeks that no trades can happen. So it's coming down to the wire, even though it's it's still so far away, but the grand scheme of things, we're pretty close.
Yeah. Do you think there's, just to tie a bow on the Kane talk, but I just had one other thought because we're talking about younger players now. Do you think the urgency / desire to not have a Ratu or Sasson sit every night, is that going to be a factor in getting the trade for Kane done earlier, or that's just part of the business kind of thing, or is that an actual factor, do you think?
I doubt it at this point, because if you're the Canucks, right, you just want to get the value you can, right? Every game that Evander Kane plays, you're risking injury to an extent, right? It's one of those things that you're always risking injury every time anyone plays, right? And Evander Kane has, he's had some injury history, but he's also played almost 1,000 games, right? He's probably not, knock on wood, he's probably not going to get hurt. But it's one of those things where it's when you have the move you want, you just got to make the move at some point.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, a couple games isn't going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. That's true. That's true. But you're right. Jeff Patterson actually tweeted the exact same thing you just said: is sit him out now, protect the asset, and make a spot for younger players. So we'll see. We will see.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Wow. 7:46. I guess we should. Now's a good time to tell everyone that we're not doing a show next Monday because we. I know I'm out of town, and I think you're going out. Yeah, we're both out of town next Monday.
We're both out of town next Monday, so no show next week.
Right.
And then we'll be back on the 9th to recap the Super Bowl.
Olympic preview.
Yeah, when do the men's Olympics start? Is it the 11th?
Good question.
Men's hockey Olympics. February 11th, Slovakia, Finland. I think Canada plays on the 12th.
Okay.
So yeah, the 9th will be
Beautiful.
Canada after dark. It'll be all
Canada.
Olympics. We'll be talking about a big
Seahawks
return
after
for Evander Kane.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about the Patriots just doing nothing out there. Hopefully.
Massive show.
Yes, absolutely. Anything else that we have missed here? Obviously, we can do a quick preview and go to the people.
Yeah, people are talking about, it was rumored this morning, Carson Soucy, ex-Canuck, getting traded from the Rangers to the Islanders. But everyone's looking for the actual return but he was being held out of the lineup. Yeah, Rangers agree to trade Carson Soucy to the Islanders, but I've not seen anything about a return yet.
Interesting. Well, that's got to be the easiest trade for the player of all time. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything. You just got to you have a bit of a different commute in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Emily Kaplan. As Carson Soucy sits out tonight for Rangers for roster management, a deal is in place to send him to Islanders. Return is a 2026 third round pick. So a third for Soucy.
What did we get for him?
Well, I know you want to know. I'll look it up. Carson Soucy trade Canucks.
Yeah,
We got
third
third round pick. Carson Soucy was traded to the Rangers by the Canucks for a third round pick in the 2025 draft.
Right. Okay. So it nullifies what they gave up. So they had Soucy for a year for whatever his contract was.
Right.
All right. Fair enough. Very exciting for the Islanders, I guess. Him and Bo can be buddies.
Love it. All right.
right.
Oh, well, you guys got good. See, this person, thank you. You knew. I had to look it up. You guys are good. Coach Rob knew too. Everyone knows this. Huh? Did you know? Did you know?
If you had told me to guess what we got for Soucy, I would have probably said a third, but I didn't remember.
That's fair. Yeah. We'll see. All right.
So we go to five games to preview then. Might as well.
Okay, let's do it.
Because there's 5 games until there would be, if we were doing a show next Monday, there'd be 4. So we might as well talk about the Vegas game too. This is, it's more interesting to talk about the opponents.
Yeah.
You got the Sharks, who are in the mix. They are
Sherwood might play. He's skating his butt off.
Okay, that would be fun. That would be cool if he could play, back in Vancouver. The place would probably go crazy for him. That would be awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, rooting for the Sharks. I've got no ill will towards them, and I really like Celebrini a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome player.
Yep.
So it's Tuesday tomorrow. Then Thursday, the Ducks are in town again. Another young, intriguing team that is the hottest team in hockey right now. And they've won 7 straight. They're cruising. They've got young guys. Beckett Seneca's looking really good.
Yeah, he's good.
They've got some really, really interesting young talent, which is concerning for us for the future. But hopefully they find a way to mismanage that. So they're in town on Thursday. Then obviously the big Leafs are in town, and they are not doing too good.
No.
They've got they're out of the playoff picture by a decent bit. They got a lot of teams to leapfrog, right? They're basically 4th last in the East. They have lost 4 in a row. They've got William Nylander flipping people off in the press box.
$5,000.
What was it?
He got fined $5,000.
Okay, that seems about right. Just that team's looking like a mess right now, and I can revel in it until they somehow beat us in the draft lottery and jump over us. And then, Utah. And then so those three are at home. They go on the road on Monday for a quick little 2-gamer. Utah on the Monday, Vegas on the Wednesday.
Okay. So 5 games.
I'd like them to go 1-4.
Yeah.
That would be my ideal. And all of them really high scoring. I'm talking 7-6 losses and like a 9-1 win.
I will take a win over Toronto on Saturday just for the heck of it. And I'll take a win over Vegas, even though we never win in Vegas.
No, that's the one I want them to win is the Vegas one. I just don't like Vegas.
Yes, I'm with you. Okay, so you got 1-4, I got 2-3. Regardless, we are not wrecking our tank chances anytime soon.
No, I'm thinking the Sharks and Ducks are going to have a pretty decent shot against us. Especially both teams are, or at least the Ducks are rolling right now. The Sharks are doing okay. They're hanging in there. But Toronto, I could see losing. Toronto's falling apart here. Utah is interesting. Like I said, I could see that, and they've won 8 of their last 10. And then Vegas, Vegas is just always a problem for us, especially at home.
Yep, Utah. Yeah, exactly. Utah, Anaheim, and San Jose all with winning records in the last 10. Okay, let's do it. 1-4, 2-3. That's fair.
Excellent. All right, I got to jump right at 8. So let's get to the people. If you guys have any questions for us, throw them in the chat, and we will do our best to answer.
Here's some predictions. 0-5 from Justin. 0-5 from C Edits. 1-3-1 from Caffeine. 0-4-1.
Very optimistic team.
Fangirl says, "Don't hurt our player, Sherwood." That's true. That's true. Canadian women's team plays on the. Oh, I didn't know it was that early. Thank you, Bure Bure.
Yeah, it is earlier.
Would you do a live stream for the draft lottery to react live?
Do you like sadness? Because could be a sad stream. Depends what it is. Do we know when it's? They usually schedule this by now.
Yeah, and it's usually during one of the games.
Yeah, it's usually like first round of the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Last year it was May 5th, and they announced it the week before.
Okay.
So sometime in May, most. Oh wait,
Okay.
I've got it. Draft lottery. I have the key dates for the season sheet, and it has the draft lottery on it, and then it says TBA. So,
Okay.
So it'll be end of April, early May.
Taylor really wants. She doesn't care. No, she already asked me my opinion. I only know 2 guys from the 2027 draft. Do you know anyone past 2026? Just asking, not calling you out.
So
Okay.
I think my NHL 25 franchise, I have a roster that someone made that has a bunch of prospects a few years out. So I probably would recognize some names just from that, but I couldn't tell you what year.
There's a guy's named Dupont, a defenseman that's supposed to be good.
Yes,
in
Landon
2027.
Dupont.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. You draft the best player, but in terms of skill set, what do you think this team needs? I think they need skill scoring. That's what I think they need.
Where do we start? Healthy players, good players. The whole roster has holes. There's some holes that are harder than others, but they just need a lot of talent.
Kevin, you're right. If we finish where we are, we can only fall 2 places. So somehow, if we do not get McKenna or Stenberg, maybe Verhoff is nice.
And he's apparently rising. People are really liking him lately. So
wow,
there's as long as we finish bottom, we should have a good player out of it.
Seems like there's never been a case where the last place team wins the draft lottery in consecutive years. Are you allowed to win it twice in a row?
They changed the rule. I don't think maybe it was you can't win it 3 times in 5 years or something. I don't remember what the exact. They did something weird right after it worked for Edmonton.
Okay.
So it's a bad time to be a tanking team.
Yeah. I will only dance on my own stream. I will not make Parker sit through that and wreck his channel. So we'll figure, or this channel, we'll figure that out. If we truly want to draft for a position, should the Canucks trade down? But who do they want to draft for a position? Like you're talking about actual position on the ice, right? Like not draft position. You're talking about like a D-man or a center or whatever. Is that what Irvin's asking?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the best practice is if there is a guy you want and you think he's going to be at a lower pick, you trade down, right? We don't see it a lot in the NHL, though. It just doesn't really happen. You see it a lot in the NFL. Happens a ton. Where a lot of teams are jumping up, but then you trade down to get more picks. But that's because like a 6th-round pick in the NFL can play for you that year, right? Because these are like 22, 23, 24-year-olds sometimes.
Right.
Not really the case in the NHL. So, you pick the guy when you can get the guy, I think is the way to do it.
All right, last 2 questions so you can get out of here on time. Out of all the extensions that were made last season, Lankinen, Demko, Boeser, Garland, who has been the most disappointing? Good question.
For their play, I think it's been Boeser. For just injuries,
Value,
Demko.
Yeah, I'm with you. And lastly, Justin says, both of us, do you think the Canucks finish the season with more than 10 home wins? They have 5. And how soon do we start seeing McKinnon or Stenberg Canucks patch jerseys? Okay, we won't answer that one, but
okay,
they're 5
funny. I know they have 5 home wins in
5, 16, and
30
3.
games or whatever.
Yeah, 5, 16, and 3, and they played 24. So they have 17 home games left. Can they win 5 of their next 17 home games?
You'd think so, but I don't know. I think they'll probably I'll give them 9 to end the year.
I think they're going to freak people out. They're going to put together a mini win streak, but not enough to wreck their chances.
Yeah,
I'm going
put that
11.
mini win streak together like on the road against really good teams for some reason. Like they're going to go the end of the year. They're going to have that Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota stretch on the road, and they're going to go sweep those games for whatever reason. I don't think they're doing anything at home.
But look at this last thing: 8-game home string. Ottawa, Nashville, Seattle, Florida, Tampa, St. Louis, Anaheim, Kings. There's got to be a couple wins in there, aren't there?
Every team you just listed is ahead of us in the standings.
Well, of course. Very good. All right, I'll let you see us off because you're the one who's got to get going.
All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for showing up early for us here. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, you can hit subscribe, hit like, do all that good stuff. Like we said, we are not here next week. We're busy. It's the Pro Bowl. We're very excited about that. We won't be here next week. We'll be back on Monday, the 9th.
Yep.
Like you said, big Olympic talk. We'll have probably a couple of women's games to talk about as well, and hopefully those are routes in our favor. Hopefully the ice is ready in Milan. Clay, any parting words this Monday?
Yep. Everyone take a 3-hour break, then join me. I'll do a little open mic style at 11 p.m. tonight. Would love to hear from you more then.
Excellent. And I will be asleep by then.
Good luck in your game.
Thank you. All right, folks. If you missed any part, you can rewind back to the beginning. You can find our favorite podcast platform. You know the drill at this point. Just hit subscribe while you're here, and we will see you next time.